What are we going to talk about today?
Today, I thought we could dig into well-being and self-care by examining the acronym MEDS that we've heard a lot about and we've talked about on several of the last podcasts, just mentioning it here and there. And so I thought we could actually dig into it today.
Sounds good.
Welcome back to In Residence. I'm Keith.
And I'm Laura.
Hey, Laura.
Hey, Keith.
How are you?
I'm doing okay. How are you?
Doing well. All right. What does it stand for?
Okay, so MED stands for meditation, exercise, diet, and sleep. Each of these are important parts of making sure that you are engaging in self-care and taking care of yourself. And so what I thought we could do is we could just start at M and go through each of them and talk about things that have worked for us or things that maybe we struggle with and want to try out. So we're going to start with M, meditation.
Meditation.
So do you practice meditation?
Not very often. I have, but not like how people talk about it now with like transcendental meditation. And I took meditation in college.
Mm-hmm.
I have a level 1 certificate in Qigong. I did like a weekend seminar on that, 20 years ago or something. When you brought up meds, and I'm like, oh, what's that? And you're like, oh, meditate. The exercise, diet, and sleep, it's stuff I think about often. Meditation I hear about, and I think it sounds like a great idea, but I don't lean into it as much as I maybe wish I did.
Mm-hmm.
And from the outside, it seems like I have plenty of time in which I could dedicate a fraction of that to maybe a mindfulness practice. But I tend to fill my ears with sound and not quite giving myself maybe the calmness that is required to meditate.
Mm-hmm.
I do have the Calm app.
Yeah, which is great.
Yeah, actually, I used it last night. I had like a soundscape on to kind of help me fall asleep. I think I just did rain. And I haven't explored Headspace app, but I have that also like a free year or something with like another subscription. I think it was through Adobe, like they partnered with them. And so I got like a free year or something with that. So it's been on my mind, but I haven't been leaning into it, I guess. I don't know.
No, that's fair. I also have the Calm app. And I am inconsistent, I will say, with meditation. So I go in fits and starts. Sometimes I'm doing it every single day because they actually have very small snippets that you can use, from 5 minutes to 15 minutes. And they have meditations that are focused on things that you might be coming up on. So they have ones around leading at work, handling conflict, communication.
Are these guided meditations?
Guided. Okay. Yep. And
I haven't used any of those.
Yeah, so some of them are really good. I've used them in the past when a couple years ago when work was just really stressful and there was things that I needed to help myself help set myself up to have the right mindset going into a day or even going into a meeting during the day. And the Calm app, some of those around confidence at work, leading a meeting at work, speaking up at a meeting at work, even things like that. That Calm app really can help tailor the meditations to what you need. I have some regret that I have fallen out of practice and using it. I use the Calm app mostly for sleep stories if I have insomnia,
right,
to get back to sleep right now. But the one thing around meditation that I think is just good to remember is it doesn't have to be the whole big, extensive, large practice where you lock yourself in a meditation room for 2 hours
like sensory deprivation type stuff. Yeah.
Right. And don't speak to anyone and don't speak to yourself and just sit there and, meditate. It can be as simple as Brandon Bouchard, who we talked about a couple episodes ago, he even says that he has a practice that every time he transitions at work or in his daily life, he takes 1 to 3 minutes and just breathes. And there's one thing, because he said meditation can be difficult for him. So he actually uses the word release as he breathes. So he'll just say, release. So release the tension in your body, release the thoughts in your mind, breathe, release. And so he'll breathe in, release, release, and
Mm-hmm.
I've tried that a couple times. It's not a practice by any means at this point, but it bakes it into your day and it's very doable. And it's similar to the PQ reps that my executive coach taught me that help really have some presence and is meditative to close your eyes, focus
You're rubbing
in.
your fingers together right now.
Rubbing your fingers together. Yep. And
People
feeling.
can't see you.
No, people can't see me, but if you.
Kind of like a groundedness thing.
It's a grounded. Yep. So if you sit and you breathe, shut your eyes and feel, and you don't even need to shut your eyes. You can pick a spot on a wall, but feeling all of the fingerprints rub against each other and just taking 1-2 minutes doing that and breathing and being very intentional with that and noticing and tuning into the finger rubbing.
Yeah.
That can really help ground you. And it's almost kind of an active way to not have to just sit and kind of combat your thoughts and just notice them going by. But it helps ground you to doing something, or like Brandon Bouchard says of the release. It's a somewhat, it's not active, but it's more active than sitting and just saying, nope, putting that thought down. Nope, not right now, brain, putting that thought down. It's really helpful. So those are a couple things that I want to do more. And you brought up Headspace, and there's, I believe it's still out there. I guess I could look really quick. But Netflix had a really great special couple series with Headspace to even just talk about what is meditation. But it was one of my first entrees into understanding meditation, because the little orange dot sitting on a hill and it's seeing traffic go this way and that way.
Okay.
It was that thought where I'm like, oh, the traffic on a busy freeway is my mind.
Right.
I definitely that resonates with me. And the idea is not to focus on every single car in the traffic, but try and zoom out and know that that's happening, but that you're being present with yourself and not noticing every car and every movement and everything.
Yeah.
It's freeing. And so, if you're interested, hopefully it's still out there. But it's a great little mini series. So as we move forward, what do you want to do related to meditation? Is it something you want to try or not quite yet?
I want to make space in my day where I am simply being and I'm not having input, don't have the earbuds in. Like the closest I come to that is journaling right now. But even that, like I'll put like classical music on my phone.
Mm-hmm.
That's maybe like the entry point and maybe something for me to acknowledge, like you're almost already kind of doing this, or maybe you're doing it your way, which is maybe writing is meditation for me. I'd like to go the next step and simply be with myself and attempt that practice of allowing the thoughts to pass me by and to not fixate on anything and not have somebody talking in my ear. That would be different if it was a guided meditation. There would be a purpose to that. That would be serving the purpose of me meditating. But yeah, I think it would benefit me to incorporate more free space for my head. the shower is a great time for me, I realize, where I might get ideas or thoughts. And not that I want to use meditation as a way to generate ideas, but it's in the process of not having anything coming at me that something may come out of me.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I'm not trying to like proclaim any like lofty goals of like I want to be able to meditate uninterrupted, with someone can like yell at me, but it doesn't break my trance of concentration. It's more of like I simply want to tap into the empowerment of letting my mind clear itself, or not constantly having to feel like I need something stimulating me.
Mm-hmm.
Because out of that, I think art can blossom, or creativity, or what am I actually thinking, not what am I responding to or reacting to. This idea that and this might come up later with the diet, but it's like, what am I consuming? And for
Mm-hmm.
me, it's a lot of input that comes into my head through, reading, listening, and stuff like that. So I could stand to have some blank space to simply be. Yeah.
Yeah,
Sounds a little similar to for you, maybe, is what I heard.
it does. Because I think I lean on meditation at the times where it's a little more stressful or things are hard or I anticipate things will be challenging. I think that's good. I don't want to take away from that I think that's good. But also believe that if I was to cultivate a more consistent practice of meditation, even if it's 5 minutes every morning, that's 5 minutes of like 2 hours I have set aside for a morning routine. That really isn't that much time, or 5 minutes in the evening.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It doesn't have to be in the morning or at the specific time. But I think if I was to be more consistent in a practice of meditation, I would feel the benefits of that from a wellness standpoint, and it would just add to kind of the ad hoc approach I have right now that is serving me. But I do think that it could serve me better if I was a little more intentional about that.
Yeah. So, I mean, maybe we can move on to the exercise,
Sure.
because something you said about like a practice makes me think of training and
Mm.
exercise, and you almost said using meditation as like rehab,
Mm-hmm.
and that's how I'm approaching my training and my exercise. Is I want that to be a practice of something that I'm proactively doing so that I don't have to rehab, I don't get injured. And so transitioning to that from the meditation, when I think of wanting a meditation practice, it's because I want to start from a certain spot of clarity
Yeah.
versus always having to overcome the stress or the anxiety that I have. It's
Mm-hmm.
like, oh, how about I get that level down more towards like a neutral area, and that's like my baseline, right? And so exercise, I'm noticing that that's helping. I'm feeling stronger. I get more energy as I exert more energy.
Mm-hmm.
There are days where I need recovery built in, like that's part of that process. But I'm going to be starting the third week of doing four sessions a week here.
Mm-hmm.
So kind of my new plan, my new like on my own kind of thing. And for me, it's going well. How about you? Like, what's going on with that, or what comes up for you with the exercise portion of
Exercise.
this? Yeah.
Yeah. So I've been incorporating it back into my morning routine. And I've also been trying to incorporate it when I travel for a conference of no matter what, I want to do something in the hotel gym because I'm trying to alleviate the fear I have from doing exercise in places that are not familiar to me. That might seem really silly, but
No, that's it. It's intimidating for someone that's gone to a gym for like a couple years straight
sure.
before. I never really felt comfortable or in place.
Mm-hmm.
And it was somewhere that I paid to go to, that the people at the front desk knew me and would say
Super
hi.
nice. Yeah.
And everybody in the rooms were nice, but it was still somewhat intimidating. So I totally get that.
Yeah.
And it's easier for me to say, "Oh yeah, just go to the gym." And if anybody sees you in there, they're going to be like, "Yeah, good for you."
Right. Well, and honestly, it depends on how long, but the last 3 times I traveled for work, one was just one night, so I'm not going to count that one. It just felt I was there and back in under 24 hours. So
What do you mean?
I
What do you mean you're not counting it?
so I'm not going to count it against me that I didn't get up and go to the gym.
Oh yeah, you were
Because I
there for
got
like
in
12
late.
hours.
Yeah, I wasn't there very long. But the other ones, when I was there, I did go and visit the hotel gym. The first time I said, okay, one time. The second time I said, okay, 2 out of the 3 days. And I did it.
Mhm.
So that's something I want to do because I know as I travel, I want to be able to have that muscle available to me and not atrophied, so to speak,
The muscle of working out, or the
of working out and having it be who I am and how I show up, even when I'm on vacation or traveling, because I'm not doing it as a punishment. I'm doing it because it makes me feel better.
bringing up travel again.
See, I
Oh,
just try and slide it in every
it's
chance I
just
get, hon.
yeah. It's just this whole podcast is a ploy for you to get a travel podcast. I
Yes.
knew it.
That or a puzzling contract. I don't know what that
Yeah.
would look like. That would be awesome.
Anyway,
I'd puzzle for pay.
I believe part of my hesitation to travel is that it throws me off of my routine. And that's a great excuse for me to say. But what you just said is, if I create the habit and the routine that can follow me wherever I go, then I can go wherever I want.
Yeah.
Another layer of that is, if I continue to work out and train and increase my strength and my power, my flexibility, my stamina, my mobility, that will only help me keep moving and going wherever I want to go.
Mm-hmm.
It's a journey. We've got to be, I guess, tap into that mindfulness and realize like it's a process that takes time. And like I'm even feeling a little bit of like, oh, I thought I would see a few more results over these last few weeks of, because I feel the immediate feedback.
Barely lift your arms the
I
last couple
couldn't lift my arms above my head without using one of the arms to help lift
Yeah.
the other arm.
Yeah, you got after it.
Yeah. But that same thing didn't happen the next week, didn't have the same reaction. So it means that I'm increasing my abilities there, but it's going to take time. And I just need to be aware of that and
Mhm.
not let that trip me up or change too soon or stop documenting what I can to find the trend. And and also have to be real with myself and like well, look at the next thing that we're going to talk about actually. But anyway, um are you finding, like me, that exercise is helping me show up better? Like it is an investment. It's taking time. It's creating a little bit of stress for me to make sure that I get all the other things done. But I'm actually quite pleased with how I've maintained my 4 days and having the time to do everything I need to do, as well as maintain my training.
Yeah.
I guess because I've seen you do it, that maybe has helped me. Like you've like you're like, yeah, I'm going to get up and I'm going to do this.
Yep. 5 a.m. club.
Yeah,
It
ridiculous.
works for me though.
Yeah,
And that doesn't work for you, right? And that's
no,
okay.
but it's turned into, instead of 10:30, 11, it's turned into 8, 8:30, maybe 9 if I didn't sleep well,
Mhm.
and I take a little more time to do my dynamic warm up and stuff. But even that, I count as part of my session. But um, How is it feeling for you to put that time in, and what's the feedback that you're getting maybe from your body, from your head?
Yeah, it's feeling really good. The one thing that I'm overcoming right now is because we're during the week I'm in an apartment on the upper floor. I'm trying very hard not to bother the neighbors
Right.
at 5 a.m.
Yeah.
So I think I have a pretty good process of what rooms are over the garage that I can do a lot of my rowing, or I do weightlifting. So I'm rowing twice a week, weightlifting twice a week. But it's feeling good. I'm feeling stronger. I'm sleeping better, and my head is more clear, and I'm not carrying the stress with me. So I'm not experiencing the insomnia I was prior to doing the exercise. So I think that's one important piece, and it's that with a combination of other things, but that definitely has helped. The one thing coming into the next week that I'm trying to be thoughtful about is I have a pretty structured routine where like I said, I row twice a week and I lift twice a week.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the rowing happens in the hallway over the garage. The lifting happens in the hallway, in front of the laundry room, and in child two's bedroom.
Mm-hmm.
This week, child two is going to come with me to Green Bay. And so I need to adjust in some way of what does that look like. And this is where I think it's good to have a routine, but also have different things at your fingertips to hit your plan without having to be super rigid. So that's something I'm working on. So I've been thinking through, knowing that he's going to come out to Green Bay, what are those things that maybe I can do in different ways that can still meet the plan, but still not bust in his room at 5 a.m. and be like, sorry, guy, I just have to come in here and do my shoulder press, alternating leg raises in here, and rowing outside your door at 5 a.m. Like, I'm not going to do that. Right? Well, I mean, could I do it? Sure. Am I going to do it? No. And I don't want to do it in another room and have the neighbors be like, what the heck is going on?
Yeah.
What is that whoosh, whoosh, whoosh? I do think that this week I'll probably do some variation of lifting, and I might also see if he wants to go for a walk outside when I get home from work. Something like that. So it might not look the same, but it is going to continue that process, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I think it'll still work. I know it'll still work because I'm resolute that it will.
Yeah.
Well, and honestly, it's a good muscle for me to flex because I'm in a different situation than you are from a consistency standpoint during the week. For the most part, you're here at our house. You bring child one to school because that's a set schedule. So you have the ingredients to have a pretty consistent morning routine right now. Whereas I feel like I do when I'm alone in the apartment. But I don't want to trade that rigidity for taking the opportunity to spend more time with one of my kiddos.
Yeah.
Right? So we're going to work through it, and I'm still going to crush my goals.
Yay.
Yay. Should we move to diet or you know what? Can I say one thing?
Yeah.
Because I don't know how useful it is for people to hear, like, what are their goals and are they doing it? But maybe I just want to throw out one thing that I do that may or may not be helpful. During the weekend prior to the week, I think about what does my week look like related to big meetings, like how available am I, etc. And I plan my week. What days am I going to work out, and what is that workout going to look like? And what does that workout mean from I don't want to say bare minimum.
Intensity.
Not even intensity, but if I was to do this, my
What's your floor?
My floor?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good way. My floor is 15 minutes of rowing.
Yeah.
So you might have planned 30, but if you get 15 in, you're still fine. So I do try and do that each weekend, planning out what does the week look like, and then what are those activities. And I always go for a 15-minute walk as a backup. If you didn't get it this morning, just go for a 15-minute walk in the evening, and you're not going to beat yourself up about it. So anyway, do you have any things like that? Any like hot tips, things that seem to work for you?
I mean, I have done the minimum with rowing, and that seemed to work for a while until the rower got moved, maybe.
Around Christmas?
Yeah.
It goes into my office during Christmas time, so we can put the tree where the rower is.
And then I got the rebounder. That didn't quite stick, but I keep it out and I'll hop on it when I walk by for 60 seconds to a little longer, depending on if I'm actually going somewhere for a reason or just passing by. I'll maybe stay on a little longer, but that's not super consistent.
Bring that to the apartment. I bet our neighbors would love that.
Oh, that would be the worst, I bet.
Sorry.
Right now I'm following a plan that's written out that tells me how many sets and how many reps of which exercises to do. And I've done that for 2 weeks straight. I haven't done every single exercise to completion because it wore me out too much. And I'm like, well, I went to failure. I literally went to failure. I even tried doing, after the deadlifts the other day, there was forward lunge to reverse lunge, holding on to some dumbbells. And I started doing them and I'm like, nope, can't do these. I'm too tired. And I'm like, well, I can do them on Saturday or Sunday because Saturday and Sunday are nothing scheduled.
Yeah.
It's like recovery days, and same with Wednesday. I guess to answer your question is I'm having success following the plan. And now I need to maybe incorporate some floors of things to do on like my recovery days, because recovery doesn't necessarily mean doing nothing. It means like I could be doing some auxiliary things with like bands for my arms and my shoulders and my legs, body weight things.
What's auxiliary things?
So like I'm doing these shoulder presses, right? And I'm doing like 8 sets of 5, with 40 pounds in each hand, let's say.
Yeah.
It's a lot of weight to just rep out. And so I'm stressing the shoulders a bunch, and it's like doing like the side delts. I'm doing 25 reps. And then I'm doing rear delts, 25 reps. And so it's like a superset back to back. So that's why I couldn't lift my arms the other weekend. So like a supplementary is maybe better. Like I could get some bands and like wrap the band around like a doorknob, and I could be like doing some like pulling away from the center of my body or pulling the band across the center of my body, helping move those shoulder muscles and those arm muscles in different ways. It's a stretch, but it's also creating tension and stress, which promotes growth, which is what I'm after.
I can tell it's working.
Thanks.
Sorry, I'm just smiling at you.
Thanks. Yeah.
I'm giving you like
Just giving me some eyes.
Yeah.
Appreciate that.
Your arms are very strong.
I'm working on it. So yeah, it's going well. I'm seeing, this is where that thing comes up of like, I'm seeing that I'm saying, oh, I could do more. But I gotta be careful to not burn myself out, right?
Yeah, because your brain, I don't know if your brain is like mine, but it's constantly, if it's like, you should do more, and then you do more, and you're like, gosh, that was a lot. You know what would be easier? Doing nothing. It's like, come on. Can't there be some in between?
Well,
sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, but it's like, yeah, if you overcook it, if you're too sore to do anything when you're supposed to the next time, it's like, well, that didn't set yourself up for success. So,
yeah.
But yeah, no, it's going well.
That's good. So I will say there's 2 things that I'm thinking about around diet. One is I want to make sure that I'm eating things for my body that feel good in my body and that I'm hydrating. So that's the first.
Hydration is huge.
Right.
Yeah.
The second thing that I think about with diet is making sure that I'm relearning how to listen to my body. And what I mean by that is when we were little, and you notice this when you're around little kids, they eat when they're hungry and they stop when they're full. Like, I remember watching child one when he was little. He would sit there and eat something, and then there'd be like a piece of cake in front of him, and he's like, I'm full. And I'm like, what do you mean you're full?
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't say that, but in my head, I'm like, let him be full, let him be full, because I have gotten to a point and condition from society and from myself and what I like that if the thing just looks really good, is it really going to hurt to keep eating it? And with my goal of prioritizing my wellness and losing weight, it doesn't hurt, but it definitely doesn't help me reach that goal. So those are the two things I have been focused on around diet, is filling my body with good things and then making sure I'm listening to my hunger cues and stopping before I've stuffed myself so full I'm uncomfortable.
Yeah, you working on that last one of knowing like when it's enough has helped me. I've started noticing that I am full sooner than I used to realize. That's helpful. I've shifted what I eat for the most part. I sometimes struggle, mostly when we go out. I tend to
it can be
revert.
tough.
I tend to revert to poor choices, even when there are decent choices available. It's more of like, well, we're out. Like, it's kind of special, even though it's not. It's just that script is still kind of in my head of like going out as a treat.
Yep.
But I'm much more in tune with how I feel after I have something, and being able to tell myself, if you get those tater tots, you're not going to feel good after. And I learned that lesson again the other weekend. And so this weekend when we went out, I didn't get that.
You
and
didn't.
I felt better.
Yeah.
So now I just need to keep doing that. The diet is always been a little tricky for me, but I think the biggest thing for me is movement. Like, I know they say you can't outrun your fork,
Right.
but it's harder for me to run than to say no to cake. Like, I can say no to cake, and I can
You're
have,
really good at saying no to cake.
I can have chicken.
I don't think you even had cake yesterday.
No.
The child one's birthday.
Uh-uh.
I mean, it's no big deal. You're the
No.
only one that will remember.
Yeah. And I'm like,
I remember today, but it was a day ago.
No, it's not something I like. I don't even think about it. I think of, like, in the moment, I'm like, do I feel like that? And I'm like, no, I don't. It's not it's not like a nail biting decision of like, oh, if I have that, I'm not going to reach my weight loss goals. It's like, I really don't feel like having that. So why would I have it? You know, there's going to be a time down the road where I'm like, I feel like having something sugary.
Yeah.
I'll think about it then. Now I don't have to think about it. It's like, no, I ate and I'm not hungry for that. And again, not to say that I don't have times where things are tempting, but I'm also getting better at like, just don't bring it in the house. If I don't bring it in the house, I don't think about it.
Right.
Like, I eat chips because the chips came in the house, and it was my fault. I bought chips because I thought that the kids would want them. Well, guess who else wants them? Me. So this is one of those things where I don't set myself up for success by making poor choices.
Okay, so I have two questions for you.
Yeah.
Around diet. One is around the Clean Plate Club, and one is around
being a dumpster.
Well, yeah,
the cleanup crew for the kids.
Yeah. And the other one is around eating things that are actually worth it.
Interesting.
So I don't know exactly which one you want to talk about first, but I can.
Yeah, so Clean Plate, I probably grew up with that.
I know I did.
I was definitely not.
I felt like I did.
It's definitely not forced to eat things I didn't like most of the time. I didn't like green beans growing up. I wasn't forced to eat them.
Yeah, that's a good point. I don't know if I was either.
But if you took it, you better eat it, kind of thing. And then the extension that I brought up was, like, when the kids were smaller, they wouldn't necessarily eat all of their food.
They left some good stuff behind.
There would be pizza left behind.
Say that.
There would be mac and cheese left behind. Half of a cheeseburger left behind. Well, don't want to waste that, right? We paid for it.
Yeah.
So Dad didn't even need to order a meal because he just gets to eat 3 half meals, or whatever. Yeah. Because they also wanted a side or something.
Yeah.
So I got some onion rings too, or whatever.
Yeah.
But
no, I think it's something to keep in mind, because So often I eat everything that's served on my plate. And I think some of it, I don't want to not eat something because I don't want people to feel bad if I don't eat it, especially at a potluck
Oh, geez.
or like a family gathering. If I was to throw something away,
That peer
it's just
pressure.
so weird because,
Yeah.
I don't
Nobody's
think
thinking that.
no
I
one's
don't
thinking
think.
about it. No one's like Laura threw away a piece of cake or, like no one's. So that's one thing. And I did want to share this because I learned from someone a tip that they do. And I thought this was really good. If they're out at a restaurant and they're done eating, they're at enough, they're full. They will take their napkin and they will rub it on their shoe and
Oh,
put it on their plate.
oh no.
I've heard some people say, I take ketchup or mustard and I
Yeah.
put it all over the extra tots so no one will eat them. But I thought, I'm like, that is disgusting. And I can see why I would not eat more tots if I had a shoe napkin on them.
Yeah, that's gross.
Ew.
Yeah.
But effective. So the other question I wanted to ask you was around eating things that are worth it. More and more, I have asked myself that question because I'm realizing I don't have as much room as I want to. Like at a party, I'm looking like, wow, there's so much here and it all looks so good. Like yesterday, we had a get together and I was looking at everything and I'm like, no, that cheese or the crackers are not worth it to me. I don't really like crackers all that much. It's one of those things where I'm like, okay, I'm not going to have the crackers that I don't really like. I think that was one of the biggest things. So we had chicken Kievs yesterday because child one loves them. So I had a chicken Kiev. I made brown rice so we could have it. And you know me, I don't like rice. But I took it anyway because I like when the chicken Kiev kind of blends with it. So at the end of eating on my plate, I had this entire thing of rice around. And if I ate it, my knees would hurt. And I looked at it, I'm like, I don't really enjoy it anyway. And so I threw it away and we gave it away to people that were leaving our party. It was like the party favors. Laura made too much rice. Please take some and enjoy it at home.
Mm-hmm.
But I think there's that reminder that just because it's there or just because it's on your plate, that isn't a commitment to putting it in my body.
I mean, I think paying attention to what feels good in your body and what helps you stay as healthy as you can be and reach maybe for us our weight loss goals. I'm going to try to avoid eating things that are going to leave me feeling lethargic or just not well. And I keep learning that lesson, and it's kind of like, okay, dude, start writing it down so you know, like, this is what you had before you started feeling that way. Don't have it again.
Right.
Like, I don't eat egg rolls anymore.
Yeah, you don't
I
actually.
like cabbage. I like pork. I like carrots.
It's great when it's in a crunchy little wrapping.
Yeah, but it's just the it's fried and it just doesn't agree with my body. So the sautéed cabbage and carrot in
egg roll in a bowl.
Yeah,
without the fried. Yeah,
that and cooking's fun. Like making your own stuff.
Cooking.
And so anyway, obviously, what you put in affects what you can put out. So.
Okay, so sleep. Over the last several years, I have been working on my sleep hygiene, and I don't always get it right. In fact, this morning, you and I were having a conversation over coffee. We were talking about sleep, and I think I said, so how did you sleep? And you said,
don't know how to answer that.
That's exactly what you said. And you said, well, how did you sleep? And I said, well, my Oura ring told me I slept almost 8 hours, and it was pretty good. You're like, oh, that's right. I have an Oura ring. Let me look at the app.
It's new. I forgot. I can't tell because I'm always tired in the morning, and I know I stayed up too late.
Yeah.
But I don't feel horrible. But let's see what the little machine on my finger says.
Yeah. It made me think about how many things we can do to impact our sleep in a positive way, and just being very mindful of that. And I will say I'm a woman who is in her perimenopause stage. Sleep is going to be changing and evolving, and it has. One thing I've noticed in particular, and I have fought this, is having a glass of wine too close to bedtime means my sleep is not going to be great.
Yeah,
And I
horrible.
really don't like that new revelation. I really don't, because I like to have a glass of wine in the evening with you
Hmm.
and watching a show or just talking and listening to music. And then I want to sleep like a baby, and it just doesn't happen.
No.
I toss and I turn, and my Aura ring is like, nope, that didn't work. Pay attention, it says. Pay attention.
Yeah. I'm interested to see the data on my sleep. That's probably the main reason I wanted this ring, because I don't like sleeping with my watch on.
Too big.
Yeah, it just, I can't believe I wear a watch all day. I'm going to lean into that, but having it on at night, it bugs me. I'm very interested to see what my sleep stats are, how they improve depending on my actions, my exercise, my diet, because I know sleep is so important. All the research points to increasing the quality of sleep is so beneficial for your health and for losing weight, and how combined exercise, diet, and sleep are. Meditation obviously is going to help immensely too. So all these four components, they're so intertwined. And so if I can pay attention to them, document them so that I have like meaningful metrics in which I can see these are the data points I'm getting, and this is how I'm feeling versus this is like my readiness score on the Aura ring, and how it says my sleep went. I think that's going to be kind of a game changer, because like I don't know if I can trust how I feel sometimes, or I went to bed at 11:30, but when did I fall asleep? Now it says when you fall asleep,
which is nice.
and it shows how many times I woke up in the night. I just want to be able to kind of have some hard data so that maybe I can hold myself accountable, and then I can maybe see where I can make better decisions and choices that lead to the outcomes I want.
Right, because sleep is so important for your wellness, stress management, all of those things. Do you have a sleep goal of how many hours?
I think 7.5 is my optimal.
So I'm smiling right now because I try and get 7, but when you do it in hour and a half chunks, there's research out there that says
The 90 minutes, yeah.
the 90-minute. There's actually, I brought a book. So there's this book that our trainer, your trainer, recommended to us called Sleep, The Myth of 8 Hours, The Power of Naps, and the New Plan to Recharge Your Body and Mind by Nick Littlehales.
I took a nap a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
What should I say?
Power nap?
No, it was like the Royal Rumble of naps. I slept from 4 to 6 o'clock in the evening.
Dang, okay.
I mean, that right there, I was like, oh, I'm definitely not getting the sleep I need if I'm taking a 2-hour nap in the middle of the afternoon.
Right.
And I still went to bed. I mean, I think I stayed up a little later. Oh, yeah. It wasn't.
Yeah.
To me, I've never really been a napper, and it is usually a signal to me that I'm worn out.
Yep.
So I'd be interested to dive into this a little more.
Yeah, you should. I'd encourage you to read it because there's even a chapter called A Game of 90 Minutes, Sleeping in Cycles, Not Hours. And so the whole idea is a sleep cycle is 90 minutes. And so if you do 7 hours, you're cutting yourself off within a true cycle of sleep. Or for those of us who sometimes the alarm goes off and we hit snooze and we hit snooze and we hit snooze, you aren't actually getting more restful sleep.
I did that the other day too.
Did you? Yeah, and so many of us do. But if you instead do the Mel Robbins rule, right, of just like get up, like blast off, instead of like sitting and getting not restful sleep.
I had good intentions. I was trying to wake up earlier, and I just couldn't do it.
I love it. I had good intentions.
I was just like, you know what? Daylight saving time. Let's use this to our advantage and get up a little earlier. Body's just like, no, man. I maybe should have tried 5 minutes earlier, not 45 minutes earlier.
There you go.
What do you...
The other thing I want to talk to you about is because I think you and I talk a lot about how I'm a morning person and you're a night person. With this book, they talk about either being an owl or a lark. An owl being someone that functions better in the evening, right? And a lark being a morning person, essentially. Yep. But they do talk about chronotypes. Have you heard of chronotypes?
Heard of it.
Okay. So I'm really excited. After you have, I think it's about a month's worth of data in the Oura Ring app, they're going to give you your chronotype. So you're going to be able to see what your optimal bedtime is and what your optimal rise time is. That's based on circadian rhythms, trends, how you do your best sleep, etc. I just wanted to mention that I didn't know or remember that was also in this book. But it does explain a lot about how do you make sure that you're setting your schedule up in a way that maximizes and leans into your most natural productivity times. For me, I do a lot of my work in the morning, right? My deep work, my reflective work, because that sets me up better as a lark. And that's based on my chronotype. It's based on my ability to get up and get rolling. But if I had to do that stuff in the evening, it would be not great.
I'm like the opposite.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure. I would be really surprised if it told me something different.
Me too.
But I'm afraid what it's going to say is like, you should go to bed at 2 a.m. and wake up at 10:30. And I'm like, yeah, that sounds amazing. Because I'm not usually ready to go until 1 p.m. or 2 o'clock. That's like when I start firing.
Right. So, and I'll be interested because there's always a window. Mine was actually later than I thought. It was like, your ideal go to bedtime is 11. I'm like, really? I fall asleep and pass out at 9. What's going on? So I think it's just good to know. And honestly, kind of going to things that you often say is giving yourself the permission to XYZ. I think giving yourself the permission to build your day around your energy levels and not to discount that. And so if my energy level is better and greater in the morning, I should lean into that and try and do more of my things in the morning, where if yours is in the evening, you can set your day up. Maybe you work out in the morning and do some of the like household chores that you need to do where it's more routine. And then your creative work is aligned with when you are at your best and have your highest energy level.
That's exactly what I do.
Right? Yeah. So see, you're already doing it. But I think it's just good to acknowledge, even if it's something that's going well, because sometimes we don't always think about that. Like I've tried to force it before, where I'm like, oh, in the morning, I'm going to get up and I'm going to do everything productive. And then I try and get my brain going at like 10 or 11. I'm like, I just wasted all of my good brain power doing dishes, you know?
Well, hopefully that doesn't happen. It's like I use dishes as meditation time.
Yes, you do.
Is probably what I'm going to start doing it. Like, I mean, I usually have the earbuds in, but sometimes they're not even on.
Right.
I started just having the noise canceling on, and I'm just scrubbing away. But yeah, I think my biggest takeaway talking about this stuff is it's all about building a plan that works for me and you building one that works for you.
Right.
Seeing that there's room for flexibility and to actually do that. I mean, that's huge, because fighting against something because it's the way you think it's supposed to be, trying to make myself wake up at 5 a.m, it hasn't worked in 40 years.
Or trying to keep me up until midnight or 2.
Yeah.
That's a hard.
Well, I've never tried to do that.
Well, I've tried to stay up and
You tried to stay up
finish
for
a paper or finish an application for something.
Or to watch the ball drop on New Year's.
Oh gosh, that's such a bad idea.
You're sleeping, go to bed.
I'm like, I'm awake. I'm totally awake.
I'm like, no, you're not. And I'm actually tired. Like, me watching you struggle to stay awake is making me tired. And this is my time. Go to bed.
Go to bed. So when it comes to actually going to bed, though, there is this idea of sleep hygiene, of how do you set up your environment to be conducive.
I need to dump a bleach bucket on my sleep routine.
Oh, no. It's that bad?
It's pretty bad, yeah. I'm not good at going to bed.
I'm going to just throw a couple things out that I've been trying that I don't want to throw a bleach bucket on. One is I have been trying to not fall asleep to like the TV or to something that is on my phone or iPad or digital. So I have been trying to
I already
read.
don't like this idea
Why?
because it's what I do.
Okay. So I have been trying.
Teasing you, but
I
it's
know
true.
you are. It's true. Yeah, that's okay. It's good to be honest. I have been trying to unplug, plug my phone in, and then read before bedtime, maybe with a cup of tea.
That's probably what I'll have to do to like lean into that because I do want to go to bed sooner.
Yeah.
And the reading definitely makes my eyes tired. So I could lead into that. I've got plenty of books that I got like a stack of like 4 over here that I
That
need
you
to
want to
read.
get to. Yeah. Other thing is sleeping temperature. I think that's something that you introduced me to.
What, that it doesn't need to be 80 degrees?
Yeah, that people and
I like it.
humans
I like it cold.
often sleep better when it's colder.
Yeah, absolutely.
We often will decrease the temperature
hmm
right before bedtime, and it does feel like we sleep better.
I definitely do.
Oh gosh, I was at a hotel room just last week. I walked in and it was 80 degrees. I was like, oh, I'm like, this, sorry, that was my reaction.
It's
I'm like,
oppressive.
oh, I'm like, no. I was like, this is too hot. I tried to decrease it, and I think it got down in the 70s at least, but it was just balmy
Gross.
in there all night. And I'm like, it's not going down. Like, I decrease it, I think, to like 58 degrees. I was like, just get colder. And it didn't. It didn't. But yeah, we sleep better when we're cool,
We do. You know, do what's comfortable for you.
of course.
I mean, try it if you don't, and to each their own. But
Well, and you don't have to sleep in the cold and like have no blankets.
you don't be shivering.
Like, you can have tons of nice quilts and
I'm just
feels so
saying,
good.
I'd rather be a little cool than sweating.
Right. There's even new mattresses or mattress toppers that have cooling. So they don't just cool from the room, but also from the mattress itself. Like I said, I'm perimenopausal, and so I'm looking at all the things.
Yeah, that'll do it.
Yeah. I have one more, white noise. Again, that was something that I didn't necessarily grow up with or do a lot, but you've been leaning into more.
For me, the fan is almost enough if I can have the fan on. I also used to fall asleep to music. It's a little too distracting to do that now because I like to listen. So then I find myself paying too much attention,
Sure.
and it's hard for me to find something I don't want to pay attention to. 'Cause if I don't want to pay attention to it, why would I play it?
Yeah.
There was a while where I was listening to books
hmm
or podcasts, but then I'm missing stuff and forgetting like where did I start?
How far back do you go?
Yeah, it's not that big of a deal, but it's just one of those things. So even the sleep stories, every now and then I'll use them, but so lately it's the soundscapes, like the rain, or like I tried a thunderstorm and it was actually pretty soothing. Like I don't mind thunder, because it's not like loud cracking,
Mhm.
like we're gonna start hearing pretty soon here,
Yeah.
as spring progresses. But yeah, I'm enjoying it. It's funny because like I use some earbuds most of the time,
Sure.
and they're noise canceling. So I have noise canceling headphones, but I'm listening to like a soundscape. So I might have to switch that and like get those out of my ear and maybe have like a little speaker
Yeah.
that's just going
Like a little
and
Bluetooth speaker or
see how
something.
that goes, and
Yeah.
maybe that'll improve the quality of my sleep also. But
Yeah. I'm amazed at how you can do the earbuds. I think it would hurt my ears to have them in all night.
they fall out, and then you take like 5 minutes to find them in the morning.
Okay. I've used like my Aero Shocks, and they're okay, but they're also a little bulky, and so
Yeah.
yeah, I had these one earphones. They kept connecting and disconnecting
Oh no.
from my Bluetooth on my phone. And about every 10 minutes, it would be louder than the actual sleep story or something. It would go, connected. And I'm like,
Oh. Yep.
It's like, connected.
Yep.
I'm like, stop. You're ruining my vibe. Trying to sleep here.
That's no good.
Mm-mm.
So I wouldn't mind not having to listen to a sleep story or a podcast or whatever. I like your idea of reading, getting tired, and simply putting the book down, turning off the lamp, and getting my optimal amount of hours.
Yeah. And then the only other, the last one I'll mention that I need to work on, not drinking alcohol or eating too close to bedtime.
Yeah.
Brandon Bouchard had a really interesting thing where he would say, if you have trouble getting to bed, try 3 hours before bedtime, stop drinking alcohol or eating food. 2 hours, stop doing work. 1 hour, stop using technology, and see if that works.
Yeah, I think there's even more research pointing towards not drinking alcohol like after 5 o'clock. It's almost like you have to like drink it during the day for it to not affect your sleep.
Sorry. Well,
Yeah. No, so
that counts a lot of days out for me.
exactly. So
That's
that
probably fine.
might be a good
Probably
thing.
healthier.
All those things you just listed, it's almost pointing back towards the meditation,
Mm-hmm.
turning down all of the stimulus, allowing yourself to be and letting yourself rest.
Yeah. And setting up those conditions.
Yeah.
Eating, that was something I had never really thought of when I was younger. But now when I'm older, I will say if I have a cheeseburger an hour before I go to bed, I'm like,
No.
what am I doing? And I don't do that very often.
Have you ever done that since we've been married?
Probably not. Probably not.
I'm like,
But I mean, sometimes.
I mean, don't get me wrong, we've eaten dinner like at 8 o'clock, but I don't think we went to bed at 9 o'clock.
No, probably not. But I will say if I eat too close to bedtime, I get heartburn and it does not feel great.
Yeah.
It does mess up my sleep. So it's just good to know.
Since I stay up late, most of the time if I'm hungry late, one, it's probably because I'm tired. And so then my body's sending signals of like, well, if we're up, we need energy, so you better eat. And back to like hydration, probably all I really need is to drink some water and go to bed.
Yeah.
Just drink some water and go to bed and get some rest.
Oh, I stress myself out with water before bedtime. I'm trying to tell myself if I still need hydration to drink the water and just get up and go to the bathroom if you have to go.
I luckily don't have to deal with that yet, knock on wood. I just think of it as like, well, if I have to wake up and go to the bathroom, maybe it's just time to get up. But
I always wake up at like 3 a.m. though.
Yeah.
And I'm like, really?
If I wake up naturally early, I don't mind it. It's kind of like almost exciting for me.
Mm-hmm. I love a nice quiet house in the morning. It is the most fantastic feeling.
And I like it really quiet at night.
Yeah.
But I also think there is something to say, like you brought up that, what is it, like you're seeking revenge on the day or something?
Seeking revenge on the day.
Yeah.
What's
of like,
that?
Like reclaiming your time at night. I think that's something that maybe I do.
Oh,
Didn't you bring that up to me?
I don't know if I did. I like it though.
I heard
That's
that
interesting.
somewhere. Well, it's part of the reason I stay up late is because I didn't get to the things that I wanted to. Therefore, I'm going to do it now, but it's not setting me up for a better tomorrow because I'm staying up too late, not getting enough sleep, and just kind of perpetuating the cycle. I heard it somewhere. I thought you brought it up, but it was interesting. I'm like, oh, that sounds kind of wicked.
Yeah, that's funny because I'm like, I'm going to get after it in the morning.
Yeah.
Again, that just speaks to two different approaches can work. Unless you stay up until like 3 a.m. It's been a while since you stayed up till 3 a.m.
Yeah. That doesn't work with having to get the kids up and to school.
Right.
If I don't have to deal with that, I have a feeling my schedule would maybe shift to me waking up later. And I don't necessarily want that. I do like the idea of being up early, it being quiet, and getting to start my day. But I do also not really come alive what I feel like is creatively until the afternoon. It's an interesting thing to pay attention to as I kind of keep navigating it as we move along here. But all right, that's all I got. Do you have anything else?
I don't think so. I mean, as we wrap up the conversation on meds, I am looking forward to see how our practices around meditation, exercise, diet, and sleep shape up over the next couple of months. I'd like to check in with you on it, see if it's helping.
Yeah. All right. Let's get out here.
Sounds good.
All right. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. I love you.
Love you too.
Good. So.
I don't need to eat chips ever.
You like the crunchy things?
I like chips, apparently.
They're very tasty.